Good evening and namaste from India. Myself, Dr. Snigdha Kadam, Chief Operating Officer, Director Academics Global of the International Internship University. Welcome all our worldwide audience, learners and educators for the NEP webinar series, Day 2 by expert Indian educationist. National Education Policy Webinar Series is an initiative by the founder of the International Internship University, Mr. Piyush Pandit Sir, to revolutionize the education. International Internship University is a leading virtual education system and global brand confederation, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide and well reputed in delivering innovative programs. IIU is committed to providing highest quality education to all the learners of the globe, regardless of social or economic background. IIU is providing access to more than 1,000 plus courses and internships to their e-learners across the globe with the help of its committed, experienced, and high caliber global educators. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents. Under the strong leadership of our visionary founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit Sir, a committed and inspiring social activist, a passionate educationist from the last 2 decades, providing education to the students from various social and cultural backgrounds. Piyush Pandit has publicized the World Education Policy, One Education, One Foundation, One World. IIU has taken the initiative to reach every learner in rural as well as urban areas through the Vidyanjali project, an initiative by the Ministry of Education, Government of India, to provide higher education as well as vocational training along with internship opportunities. Indeed, IIU is the revolution in the education. The National Education Policy was released under the Government of India's Ministry of Human Resource Development on July 30th, 2020, the first education policy to be released in the last 34 years in India. National Education Policy aims to transform India into a vibrant knowledge society and global knowledge superpower by making both school and college education more holistic, flexible, multidisciplinary, and suited to 21st century needs and aimed at bringing out the unique capabilities of each student. The motto of NEP is educate, encourage, enlighten. Early childhood care and education facilitates optimum development of the child's full potential and lay the foundation for all around development of the student and lifelong learning. Research shows that good quality education in early childhood development programs help to reduce the chance of dropout, repetition, and improves outcomes at all level of education. Planning and implementation of early childhood care and education will be carried out jointly by Ministry of HRD, Women and Child Development, Health and Family Welfare, and Tribal Affairs. So let us know from our today's experts more about how the main focus of NEP is on early childhood care and education, the foundation of learning. Today, we have with us Kristen DeCosta ma'am, the founder of Morning Star Pre-Primary School and CESA Soft Skill Academy, a multi-awardee whose passion and inner core is to embark on quality and affordable education for children, an entrepreneur, international teacher trainer, curriculum developer, storyteller, soft skill trainer, voice and accent trainer, mentoring and transforming lives forever. So dear Christine ma'am, we welcome you with a round of applause and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And it's a pleasure to be speaking here at IIU Live. It's wonderful to be speaking on such a lovely platform with fellow educators. My humble gratitude to each every one of you present here. And yes, today what I'm going to be speaking is not about what NEP offers, because it's almost 2 years now and we know what NEP offers. But I'm going to be talking about two important factors for a child's development and what ECCE caters to. The foundation years, the two important factors that are heredity and environment. So the environment in which a child is placed at the early stages is very important. See, we can put an elephant in a cage and tell him that you're putting a cloth around you, a simple cloth, and you're supposed to be, this cloth is very, very strong. You can't break it. The elephant will believe that as a child. And as he grows up, he's going to take that belief system throughout his life. So yes, my dear friends, we are talking about an environment that enriches, brings out the best in children, not tells them that you can't do something. An environment that needs to be created by our system through the ECC program. So I've got a couple of slides to share. So I'll begin with, I'm grateful and it's really nice to be sharing with Dr. Dipali Akansha and Anisha. Thank you for the introduction, Dr. Snigdha Kadam. And yes, what you teach today may someday light the world. I do believe that in my experience of 15 years of igniting minds, bringing about the best, to teach is to touch lives forever. Research supports, as Dr. Snigdha said, that brain development during the early years is exploding. And we have realized this. It's a very good fact that we have realized this. So pinch yourself and tell yourself and pat yourself that, oh, that's a great thing that you realize that no more children are born like what Locke says, tabula rasa. Children are born great minds. And it's hereditary and environment that's going to leave great traces for a child to progress. Steps that are implemented are as follows: play-based learning, activity-based, and inquiry-based curriculum, and optimal development in terms of physical and motor development. This is very important, physical and motor development. Creating a child for school readiness and developing his physical and motor, fine motor skills, so that he might enjoy the process of reading, writing. Major focus. Why should we, have this program at the early stage? What is the importance of this? To teach communication. Communication is a very important aspect. You can communicate in English, you can communicate in your mother tongue. And what I like to applaud the NEP is for the mother tongue, the influence of mother tongue. The expression that a child has to express himself in his own language. And that's what's recognized through the NEP, and that's a wonderful boon for us. Physical development. Yes, physical development is an important thing because we have three types of learners: auditory, visual, and the kinesthetic. So physical development and catering to all these learners through an integrated curriculum makes learning more fun. You can simply teach children a lot of things through Lego and blocks, numbers, many skills can be taught. Emotional and social development, a happy learner, and EQ, the importance to EQ and social learning is very important, and it also helps the child to understand if his opinion is accepted. Everybody today lives in a world to be accepted. So if a child at an early stage is accepted, his opinion is accepted, his EQ, his social development, his SQ, all would be on a high level. Art, use of art. Major focus on using art as a means to discover, a means to learn, a means to draw out something that you cannot express through language. Art does that. Independent and life skills. Our program focuses on making children independent learners, learning basic life skills. What are life skills? We're going to learn this throughout. But at the early stages, if we learn it and we start taking responsibility for our own action, it's going to be a boon for educators and the child itself. So these are the 3 points that probably I have found very, like a boon in my hand when I looked at the NEP, the encouragement of mother tongue and the flexibility in expression. And we encouraged this long ago in our preschool, wherein we had students come up on 15th August and express themselves in their mother tongue as any Indian progressive leader. So they spoke in their mother tongue. And that kind of flexibility the NEP gives, we've been doing that priorly before, but this flexibility is indeed a wonderful and amazing and word. I mean, you could really applaud yourself for this. The first time in a policy 0 to 3 years, wherein the active role of a parent with the center for the overall development of the child is mentioned. So the importance given to a parent throughout the entire policy, the mentioning of parents is not that great. But here, the emphasis that a parent and how health and nutrition is important. So planners catered to develop the child's ability to stimulate his brain, proper health, proper nutrition given to the child between 0 to 3 years. The tools of evaluation and assessment are supposed to be more creative. So apart from those bogging down worksheets, you can do evaluation and assessment through observation, through playway, through inquiry, and through various other means. Or simple Lego which you hold in your hand. Put 2 on the left and 2 on the right, you do, and complete illustration of map. 2 and 2 is 4. So a child can simply hold 2 Lego blocks in the left and 2 Lego in the right, and he can simply put them together and say, this is my understanding of 2 and 2 is 4. And this could be done with a child of 3 and 4 too. A playway. So this is something where, this needs to be stimulated and this needs to be brought out through various activities and a directive play. Now the concerns, I'll be going to the concerns. Mapping overall the private sector, preschools that still function with rote learning practices to please the parents. Some schools want to teach, the children how to write, 1 to 50, 1 to 40, and that is something that, is going to be difficult to control, to implement. In certain areas, certain states, I would say, this practice of rote learning and producing learning mode, this competition, spirit of competition, learning to write is some kind of a boon rather than developing each skill. The emphasis given to changing that mindset would really require a big, I don't know how is this going to be addressed, but this is something that really is going to take a big toll on each one of us. Dropout rates at low socioeconomic groups. This is something what the present NEP is trying to address, but in tribal areas and certain low socioeconomic groups, it is difficult to control the dropout rate and how to make the Anganwadi classes more interesting with limited means. I'm talking about places where means are just, you're not giving those facilities. So in such places, this could be one challenge. The implementation of the policy in terms of training the workforce towards stimulating brain development in the little children. The very fact, we consider 10 plus 12 and an ECCA. That is very that still needs kind of a revival. 10 and 12. You're 18 and then you go on to do your ECCE for almost 1 year and then internship. So stimulating that workforce, how to handle practicality, how to handle a child who is crying, that practicality, how to bring in about that kind of understanding, that kind of empathy, a culture among teachers, the workforce, the daycare centers, that would be in terms of, bringing about a complete revival, that why a child cries and how to create a second home in the school. That would really involve a lot of, preschools, bringing around a culture wherein teachers and the staff, the entire workforce that is dealing with children. It could be very stressful for the entire staff around because the first 2 months are only crying phase. So they are a phase of where children are facing an issue of leaving their home, and post-pandemic, this has been a very difficult thing because they've not gone out. So training them after easing out the stress of teachers could be done through yoga, through meditation, and creating that patient and loving environment. School readiness, I'd say school readiness is very important. And to create a happy learners tribe, our first experience should be a happy experience, so that children who go through this experience will believe in the fact that school is not always a place where you can, you always have to cry. It's a place where you can express. So the NEP brings out that kind of learning for us, a kind of a new step. We look forward with that new step towards working towards bringing out a healthy culture, a healthy environment, and believe in giving the best to children. So thank you everyone for listening to me patiently.
Great presentation and explanation. Very well elaborated the importance of early childhood care education, the foundation of learning by Kristen ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now today, we have our second eminent speaker, Dr. Dipali Shirgave. She is the principal of Aditya English Medium School, Baner, Pune. Dear Dipali ma'am, the platform is all yours.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank Piyush sir and IIU team for giving me this wonderful opportunity on this great platform. Ma'am, I would like to share my PPT.
You can, ma'am.
Thank you. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, it's visible. Please proceed.
Okay. Thank you. As my friend Christina said about the ECCE, it is the strong base of early childhood care and education from age 3 is included for promoting better overall learning development and well-being. Early childhood education. As we know, overall 85% of child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6, indicating the critical importance of appropriate care and stimulation of the brain in the early years in order to ensure healthy person brain development and growth. Now, we will see the aim of early childhood care of education. First is the physical and motor development. Physical growth and strengthening of child's bones and muscles and ability to move in touch his or her surroundings, because I feel motor development is important throughout child's life. Second one is the cognitive development. It means how children think, explore, and figure things out. It is the development of knowledge skills, problem solving, and dispositions which helps children think about and the world around them. Third one, very important aim, socio-economical and ethical development. This is the ability to make constructive and respected choices, personal behaviors, and social interactions based on consideration of ethical standards, social norms, safety concerns, and the realistic evaluation of consequences of various actions of the well-being of self-others. So here this socio-emotional and ethical development is also an important part of this ECCE. Fourth one, cultural and artistic development. Well, cultural plays an essential role in how children make sense of the world. And art is the language that allows them to express and develop their ideas and emotions. So I feel artistic activities are full of processes that helps children to grow and stimulate their creativity while nurturing their skills. They can express their emotions while doing the art activities. Next one, development of communication. This is again very much essential for child and also early language and literacy, numeracy development. Now next, curriculum and pedagogy. An excellent curriculum and pedagogical framework for early childhood care and education for children up to the age of 8 will be developed by NCERT in two parts. First one is the sub-framework for 0 to 3 years old, and second one is the sub-framework for 3 to 8 years old. Keeping in mind the age-appropriate content to have a children more engaged and encouraged towards studies. Well, we'll see the assessment of learning. What will be the assessment of learning for ECCE? NEP 2022 clearly makes a shift from rote memorization to competency-based assessment. And the aim of the assessment now will be for learning instead of learning. Now, it has different means for the different stakeholders of education. To begin with our educators and the school promoters, they will follow the curriculum and framework formed by the NCERT, developed on the basis of latest research on ECC and national and international best practices. For the parents, a professionally designed and administered ECC curriculum will ensure holistic development and that children develop that foundational literacy and numeracy as well as a social skills. The point of students' view, students will learn art, stories, poetry, and songs incorporated in curriculum which familiarize them about the rich and local traditions. Now, for the design of curriculum and pedagogies, it should be a play-based and activity-based and discovery-based. It should also focus on the developing social capacities, sensitivity, good behaviors, courtesy, ethics, public cleanliness, personal and teamwork and cooperation. Parents will look into this. They will focus on overall development of children, including physical and motor skill, and also emotional and cognitive, artistic and communication skills. If you see the students' view, they will learn, the learning will be enjoyable for children with indoor and outdoor play activities, visual art that consists of drama, puppetry, music, and movement. And now this NEP 2022, it means for the educators, Teachers can access a national repository of high-quality resources on foundational literacy and numeracy on the National Teachers Portal. And technology interventions that serve as aids to teacher will be piloted and it will be implemented. And for the students, regular events throughout the year and dedicated, they will spend hours every day will be planned to excite and engage students in reading skills, writing skills, speaking and counting. Now, before conclusion of this aim of the ACC, I would like to say a few words. The importance of early childhood education cannot be emphasized enough. These are the critical years for child's growth and development throughout life. I must say a balanced and holistic ECC curriculum paves the way for child's successful academic performance at higher levels in school and colleges also. And they will also develop their emotional well-being in all relationship by adding foundational stage. So thank you, ma'am. And thank you, IIU team.
Wow, Dipali ma'am, it was indeed the wonderful presentation. You have presented it so well. In-depth details about aims of early childhood care education, curriculum and pedagogy. Thank you. Amazing it was. Now, our today's third speaker, Akansha Arora, educator, innovation lead, Flip Microsoft, former head, training and school mentor, Millennium Group of Schools, CBSE master trainer. She has trained more than 300 school leaders and 13,000 teachers and conducted around 100 plus sessions on parenting. Indeed, we have a great speaker today with us. So dear Akanksha ma'am, the platform is all yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Snigdha. And thank you everybody for joining in. Good evening to all. And thank you II University for creating this platform for us to share our thoughts and discuss about national education policy and creating this entire series for that, in fact. So NEP 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century, and it proposes to revamp all the aspects of education structure to create a system which aligns completely with the aspirations of 21st century education, including SDG 4, and while it also builds on Indian traditions and value systems. So it was a great welcome that we all gave to NEP 2020, because it was after 34 years that India got a new policy. Like my friends have already shared, early childhood care and education comprises of two segments, ages 3 to 6 years, which are for Anganwadi, preschool or Balvatika, as we call them, and ages 6 to 8 years for classes 1 and 2 of the primary school. Why 3 to 6 years have been included here is based on research, like just shared by my friend, that 85% of a child's cumulative brain develops prior to the age of 6, and it is very important that the right care and stimulation is given to them. And therefore, universal provisioning of quality early childhood development, care and education must be achieved as soon as possible, or latest by 2030. Now, what are we going to learn in these foundational years? So for that, NCERT is developing a national curricular and pedagogical framework for early childhood care and education for children up to the age of 8 years. And this includes foundational literacy and numeracy, which is an urgent prerequisite to learning, which would include resources available on Diksha for foundational literacy and numeracy. They are going to develop a national book promotion policy wherein enjoyable and inspirational books will be provided in libraries to children. These libraries will not only be the school physical libraries, but also digital libraries. And the libraries will also be accessible to children after school hours. Peer tutoring for strengthening teaching skills. So not just training sessions which are provided by these educational bodies, but also teachers supporting other teachers, because that's the power of the community when we all work together. Partnership with parents, which will be very, very important. And there'll be school preparation modules for grade 1 for students before they move to grade 1, so that there is smooth transitioning from play school to primary school. Now, when we are talking of the policy, there's something very important to understand. With the fast changing employment landscape and global ecosystem, there is a need not just for children to learn, but more importantly, for children to learn how to learn. Okay. And when we talk of how children learn, there's something very interesting about it. Children learn naturally. They are natural learners, and they are also natural at expressing their emotions and telling you what they need. So we all need to remember that when we are talking of involving children or making them learn, it is not something where we need to put an effort. Everybody thinks that we have to ask children to study. Parents are so worried these days, ma'am, I keep telling the child to do the homework, but the child is not interested. So it's actually, we need to understand that children, they want to learn naturally, and we have to learn how do they learn naturally. So it's not the children who need to learn, who need to sit on a chair and do their work. It's us, the parents and teachers and all the other stakeholders, who have to understand what is the natural process of the child's learning at every age or every stage. Okay, and once we understand that, I think the battle is won. So if we talk about ages 3 to 6 years, how do these children learn? You have seen these children in malls, in parks, they're always running around, exploring the space. So they want a flexible learning environment. They have just stepped out from their mother's lap, so they need a lot of love and affection. This is the first time when they are independently coming in the community outside the family. So they need security as well as personal attention. And this age group loves toys, so they need a lot of concrete material to play with, right? And when we talk of the next age group, that is 6 to 8 years, these children, they need opportunities to explore the environment. Okay, they're always very curious. I'm sure you have seen children, you have children in your families who keep asking questions at this age. And it is such a treat to listen to their queries. So give them opportunities to explore the environment, give them freedom, take them for nature walks, take them to places outside the classroom, let them explore the world. Give them tasks, not just in the notebook, but to talk with other people, to find out more about the environment. Then they love to play with their friends. They love to engage with their peers. So create opportunities for group work, collaborative learning. These children love challenge. Have you seen these children? They'll climb up the dining chair and jump from there. Okay, after 4 or 5 jumps, they master that, and then they don't want to jump from the dining chair anymore. They want to climb on the dining table and jump from there. So all the time they need that challenge, the bar to be raised. And that's why they love video games. Because in a video game, once you accomplish a level, there's further challenge in the next level. So we have to create challenging tasks for them. Now, what happens when we give them tasks, repetitive tasks, write the table of 5 again and again, or do this chapter question answers again and again? They're not interested. And it's not because they're not interested in learning. They are natural learners, don't forget. We need to create challenging tasks for them. We need to be very, careful about our behavior, because for these children, we are the gods. Mama, papa are gods. Teacher is God. So my mama has said not to go to the other side of the road while cycling. So I'm not going there. My teacher has said this is the way to solve this sum. So this is the only right way to solve this sum. Right? So they always emulate our behavior. And so we have to be role models. We have to show them the right values and attitudes in our behavior, so that they know how it is supposed to be. Christine and Dr. Dipali ma'am have already shared about the various phases of learning. So learning needs to be flexible, multifaceted, multi-level, activity-based, inquiry-based, and play-based. So these terms look very technical, but actually, this is what happens in the environment, again, naturally. So when we say activity-based, I've seen a lot of parents while climbing the stairs, they'll climb one stair, say 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So what are you doing? You're doing an activity. So there's no rocket science to it. But the main thing here is having conversations with the child. So while doing an activity, when you talk about it, then learning happens. Then there is concretization of that knowledge that is being created. So that is very important. And usually in the classrooms, teachers says finger on your lips, or the parents say, "Acha zyada baatein nahi karo. Okay, don't talk too much. Let's focus more on the work." So I think this is very important for us to understand that after an activity, reflection is very important. Talking about it is very important. Similarly, inquiry-based learning. Everywhere in the environment, there's inquiry. You observe these 6 to 8 year olds. You are driving in a car and they'll say, "Mom, what's wrong?" Wherever, even if you're taking a left turn, the moon is there with us. If you're taking a right turn, the moon is there with us. How is it that the moon is following us? They'll ask you in the train, we are going in one direction, the trees are going in the other direction. How is this happening? So all that time, these children are asking questions and we do not answer their questions. And that's where we kill that sense of inquiry in children. And then we have to create a policy which encourages inquiry-based learning. So I think somewhere it is for all of us to understand what we are going to implement. So the policy is there now, and the onus is on all of us to make sure that it is implemented in the right spirit. Learning comprises of all these different concepts which are there visible on the slide. And I'm sure all the play schools, preschool teachers, you're all aware of this. And we're all doing this. Now, what has changed with NEP? The change is that we are shifting our focus from content to skills. Right. And in addition to skills, we are talking about application-based learning. That means using that concept in real life. So when I'm talking of, say, numbers or a pre-number concept, like big and small, okay, if I tell the child mouse is big and elephant is small and just stop there, it is rote learning, because I've made the child learn something which is small and something which is big. I have not developed the skill. Now, when my child is able to compare two objects and decide on his or her own that which is bigger and which is smaller, then actual skill has been built. So if I give the child a mouse and a cat and ask him which is small and big, the child should be able to tell and that mouse is small and cat is big. And then when I give a cockroach and a mouse, the child should be able to say mouse is big and cockroach is small. So are we developing that skill, or are we just limiting ourselves to rote learning? So this is just one of the examples. I'll move forward. So in addition to building the foundational literacy and numeracy and the higher order cognitive skills, our focus also has to be on developing civic sense, the character of the child, making a good citizen, making the child a good human being, and all that will come with emphasis on sensitivity, teamwork and cooperation, personal and public cleanliness, social capacities, good behavior, and ethics. So these are equally important. And I would also like to share an example here. For example, we always ask the child, what did you do in school today? What did ma'am teach? Which game did you play? Okay, we can talk about things which are more meaningful. We can take our discussion, on different growth mindset topics. We can talk about what was the mistake that you committed today in school. Tell me about that. Okay, and before that, I should be ready with my mistake. So, okay, let me share my mistake. I sent a mail today in a hurry and I missed including a very important point there. So what was the mistake that you made today? And conversations are very important, and that's what will set the tone for learning in future. Shared by the previous speakers, that focus is on Indian traditions and value systems. How do we teach all these concepts? Through stories, songs, poetry, games, art, and we can pick a lot of these from our own culture. Now, what is the benefit of doing that? Number one, we are bringing the child closer to the roots. We are also instilling a sense of pride about our culture and tradition in children. And because it is from their own context, it is more relatable. I remember singing this rhyme, Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her curd and whey. When I was young, I had no clue what was tuffet. I had no clue what was whey, and I could not relate to it. But I'm sure if it is from my own culture, all of us can relate better and enjoy them as well. This was covered that, like, if we do all of that, what will be the outcome? We will get the holistic development of the child in the form of physical, motor, cognitive, socio-emotional and ethical, cultural and artistic development, and development of communication and early language literacy and numeracy. So all of this comes as a package if we do all that is prescribed. So the policy is ready. How ready are we to implement it? So how equipped are the educators to teach? And I'm just asking equipped. I don't doubt your commitment. I know you are totally committed. You're absolutely willing to upskill yourselves, but we also need to equip ourselves. So just the thought, just the willingness or the intention won't help us. We have to see what all is required to teach. So what is required? I come with a B.Ed. I was the top scorer in my college, and I am very well versed with my subject. So I'm ready to teach. That is only one part of it. Okay, so you know the subject well. Do you know the child well? You also need to know about the child you are going to teach. And knowing the child means understanding the developmental milestones of that particular age. What is it that a 4-year-old can do? And creating challenging tasks according to that age group. And understanding the child also has one more very important aspect now, which is understanding the generation. Okay, please note it, understanding the generation, not just the developmental milestones, because the children you are teaching now are very different from what I was as a child, or for what children were a decade ago. Okay, these children are Gen Z children. These children have not seen a world without computers and smartphones, and all the time our only concern is keep aside your device, keep aside your smartphone or your iPad. And just an analogy. Okay, my grandmother probably grew up with a hand fan. She never had a ceiling fan. So that doesn't mean I start using a hand fan. Okay, and if I'm using a ceiling fan, then I'm spoiled. It doesn't work like that. You need to understand how the generations are changing. And that is something very important for educators and for school leaders to arrange these kind of trainings for these students. Another important thing is, are you prepared with technology? Because technology is not going away. Blended learning is the way forward. And how equipped or how frequently are you upskilling yourselves with all the required skills? So that is about preparing ourselves. And now, since NEP has already been out for more than 1.5 years now, so have you already embarked on the journey? Or are you still waiting for some magic wand to be, there? So basically, the idea is many schools have already started implementing what all is recommended by NEP. CBSE has also introduced a number of programs in the last 2 years related to basically literacy and numeracy. They've introduced the reading mission. They have introduced Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to make sure children are linked to their Indian traditions and culture. So when I say reading mission was introduced and they also started a 100 days reading campaign. So are you aware, when I talked of blended learning, are you aware of the resources which are available online for introducing this? So there, you can note down this link, aka.ms/reading-1. Okay, so reading-1 is important there. So if you go to this link, there are all the resources available for you to implement the reading campaign for kindergarten to grade 2, which is your preschool to grade 2. The CBSE had recommended topics for developing reading skills in children. You can right away do that and not just keep waiting for some guidelines to come. Yeah, I'll just share the slide for a minute longer so that you can note down. And then, because I'm a trainer, so I'm actually stressing on the expectations from teachers. So here the teacher's role is very, very important. Your vision is very important. Okay, understand the child you are teaching. Number one, this child belongs to a generation which is very different from yours. And plus this child will go out in the world to work 20 years from now, which even I don't have any clue. Nobody has a clue how the world will be 20 years from now. So we need to have a very broad vision about bringing up these children. Rather than restricting everything that they do, we need to broaden our vision as well as theirs. Understanding the child, I've already talked about it. And similarly, I've talked about mastering blended learning. So that's all. Thank you so much for this. And thank you, International Internship University, for creating the platform. I would leave you with this thought that, are you raising your children for your past or are you raising them for their future? Thank you.
Akanksha ma'am, your expertise has reflected in your presentation so well. No words to express. Indeed, excellent presentation, thorough explanation. Thanks a ton, ma'am. Thank you so much. Dear all,
Thank you.
now we have our fourth speaker of the day, Miss Anshita Gupta, a passionate educationist, entrepreneur, author, gratitude coach, and content creator, educator for over a decade, founder of Sun India Preschool, and an advocate to inspire, educate, empower women. Anshita Gupta is one of the few innovators of the now rapidly growing preschool industry. Dear Anshita ma'am, the platform is all yours.
Thank you so much for inviting me on such an amazing topic. This is very close to my heart, the foundation of early childhood education. And I'm very, very thankful to each one of you, and especially a big thanks to all the speakers. Your talks have been really enlightening, and there has been a lot of learning for us also as educators, because there were such great points from the presentations that it has become so it was so informative for all of us. So to start with, as all the speakers have already told, that the best 5 years, the starting 5 years, the kids are like sponge. Their development, their brain development is so rapid that we know that till the age, that is the maximum time where the child develops. So it is very important that we focus on their learning and we give them quality early childhood education. So what I want to put up is, generally we all as educators focus on academics, we focus on education, but what we generally do is just making their IQs higher, but not their EQs or SQs stronger. So what I want to discuss today is that as we are raising future leaders and as we are raising the future generation, it is a very, very common saying that the best CEOs of the world just doesn't have higher IQs, but they also have stronger EQs and smarter SQs. So what do I mean by this? So as a gratitude coach myself, what I have felt through years, and when I have interacted with kids, what I have felt is that if we are teaching the kids gratitude and if we are teaching certain values to kids, it is very, very important, because to raise an intelligent child is okay, but to raise a more compassionate and an empathetic human is much more important. And therefore, it is very, very important that we all focus on even strengthening their EQs and SQs. So, to start with, what all activities should be involved in this thing? The first thing is, if we are focusing on IQs, then it is very, very important that we are doing a lot of brain gym exercises with kids, and like super brain yoga and things, and brain and certain exercises which help in strengthening both the hemispheres of the brain. After that, we should be actually focusing on EQ, that is, and on values like conflict resolution, resilience building, gratitude, and empathy. Because what I have seen is, because of so much of technology intervention from last 2 years, the kids actually facing so many problems emotionally, and they are not that emotionally strong because there have been so much of technology intervention that we can see a lot of challenges, and especially challenges like developmental delays, developmental disorders, and like these days the ratio of kids having speech delays, having autism, having ADHD, ADD have increased. So it is very, very important that we do certain activities with kids so that we can at least, negate the effects of screen time that have happened in last 2 years. So to start with, we if I talk about EQ, how we can start with kids, we should start with by building a lot of values, by doing activities, and it should be a part of each and every school's curriculum. Because, raising a great human being is very, very important in today's world, who is also empathetic towards people, who also knows, who has values like honesty and compassion, and also understands that okay, can be a conflict, and how we can resolve a conflict, and how we can build our resilience towards things. Because in life there are a lot of ups and downs that happen, and we need to teach our kids that how they should cope up with those challenges. So to start with the third point, SQ, which is a social quotient, it is very, very important to develop a social quotient also for kids. Because in today's world, even if you are an educator, if you are in any other industry, you have to have that confidence to speak in public. You should be very comfortable in stepping up on the stage. You should be very, very, because, and of course, these days, social media, making videos, this is all a part of having confidence. And that is why to develop SQ, to develop social skills at this stage is very, very important. So the schools, all the educators, what I would like to just say is that, we should have more and more confidence building activities in school. And rather than winning, we should actually focus on more and more participation of our kids, and make it a point that they all are, standing on the stage. They are talking on, we are having extempo things, we are having recitations, so that at least kids start developing those social skills, that confidence, which is very, very important in today's time. So to conclude, what I would like to say is, it's a triangle, it's a tri thing. Just focusing on IQ won't help it, and we have to focus on all the three important aspects of a quotient, that is intellectual quotient, emotional quotient, and social quotient. Till the time, even if we are working on any one or any two, it is not going to take us anywhere. We need to work on all the three, and then we can see that the difference, and if we are raising our younger generation, our future generation, we would be able to see lots and lots of better human beings. And so the only thing that I would like to convey to everybody is that, we all know that each child is like a seed, which has potential to grow to its fullest, only if it is been nurtured by right guidance. So right guidance is very, very important. And also, early childhood has been a very, very important part in raising future beings, because only till age of 6 the kids grasp like a sponge. Whatever we give them, they are like sponges who can absorb everything. And we can see so many differences in kids at this age. So and the growth and development is very, very rapid. So it is very important that we focus on all three aspects. Thank you so much.
Anshita ma'am, you have explained about early childhood care so well. Thank you so much. Now, I invite you all for the open forum, all the 4 speakers. Now, let me just invite Kristen ma'am. Ma'am, would you like to express your thoughts about NEP? Like, what are the loopholes, or what will be the advantages, disadvantages? What will be the implementation process? So can you please brief us about that?
So thank you. I've been very privileged to listen to lovely speakers, and Anshita giving a different triangle to SQ. Yes, it's important. So as she mentioned, and the implementation part, actually my presentation had that, the implementation. How as educators are we ready to implement this, and mapping down the private sector? Mapping down the private sector of preschools, how are we ready to embark on a journey of progressive learning and break away from the system of rote learning? Because this is still going on. This is still going on because parents are pressurized, basically, because it's like the kids at junior and senior level, or probably above that level, preparing them for grade 1. They are in that race of the rat race of competition. So how are we going to deal with parents in this? The programs mentioned, but not every private sector is catering to all these triangles, the parent, the child, and the institute. This triangle needs to be done and mapping throughout this. So this is the major concern, implementation in the private sector. And how is it going to be possible? For us, when we do it, we take in accord during the admission process, the parents, we talk to them about our curriculum. We tell them about life skills, and we have sessions for them on nutrition and health. We have planned sessions on finance, how to plan for your child's education, on nutrition and health, and various other programs. But how are we going to monitor this in the private sector? This is something that probably the stakeholders and all of us need to come up with, a solution to this kind of, mapping this entire thing, bringing about a uniformity in addressing the parents and breaking through this competition to collaboration. Today is an arena of collaboration. It's not an arena of competition. Our generation was पढ़ लिख के आगे जाओ. You need to do this. You need to come first. The professions of doctor and engineer were considered the most lucrative professions, and you need to get a 90. Whereas today we are moving towards a very different angle. There are a lot of people coming into entrepreneurship and many other careers coming in. So how do we create that environment of collaboration? Create that mindset from a growth mindset in the parents. How do we do that? Addressing this in the private sector. So this is something that we as stakeholders, we need to start doing that. So it's not like, as Akansha shared, peer teachers. So preschools, private sectors. And now we can't leave this entire responsibility on the stakeholders, the policy holders. As preschools, we should take the responsibility of taking this news of collaboration with other institutes. So if you see in your area, your vicinity, there's this process of this preschool going around with rote learning. So you can bring about a transformation. As the head of the institute, you can take this responsibility. We are doing that, trying to bring about a change in our area, our system. So this is something where stakeholders, the owners, need to start taking up this responsibility, because if we take the responsibility in our hand, probably the system and parents' mindset, a growth mindset will come in. A spirit of collaboration, EQ, SQ, all will flourish. So this is my take on this, the basic implementation. We've got a lovely policy. It's like, a wrapped gift. If you don't unwrap it, it's going to be of no use. It's just that we are going to still stick to our old methods, and the gift is just left with us. We need to unwrap it now and start using that gift. So that's my take on this. I mean,
Yes.
And as you say that also the methods in teaching need to be revised, because we are not teaching a generation. If our kids are more engrossed in technology, use that technology as a boon. Use that. I mean, I have a kid who's 7-year-old. She's so addicted to the laptop because she started school on that. So she had this question to me, if everything is on the laptop, why do I need to write in the red blue line book? Because she started school on the laptop. So she said, I can simply learn Word. So I said, okay, you can learn Word and PowerPoint. And I used that. I taught her the skill of PowerPoint. So we can use it as a boon too. But important, if you want to write letters to your friends, wishes, a human touch is required. So there comes the book. Every time PPT won't work, right? So reason out, directly don't say no. So that is something we need to understand as, we as educators understand this, but how do parents understand this? They'll directly say no, because they don't have the time to explain this. So how do we do that? So this is something that, we as educators have to take that responsibility, have to bring in this session of parent teacher connect and bring out what are the issues you're facing. Connect with the parents on a daily basis. I'm not sure, we have groups and we connect with them. I have been visiting during the lockdown, visiting homes too. I have visited personally homes of children and I've seen the situation around, wish them on birthdays, gone to their places. So it's very important to create that connection so parents can share with you and bring out their difficulties. So that's my take on, trying to bridge the gap, mapping it, and taking the responsibility of unwrapping the gift ourselves. Coming up with more activities that will involve the holistic development, the cognition development, using as teachers can come up with their own songbook. As one of them said, Miss Muffet, come up with your own songbook. Come up with songs that are relevant, that are teaching communication. Have a rhyme that teaches communication. Have a rhyme that teaches your culture. Have a rhyme, like for instance, skip, skip, skip to my loo. So you can use that tune and teach a child, sway, sway, sway to my loo, sway to my friend, sway, sway. You can change it. You don't have to stick. You can use action words, walk, talk, dance. So all this could be incorporated. So there comes in the real creative teacher, curriculum developers, all these parts. And we all have to play our parts hand in hand to create a vibrant generation, to create a generation which looks upon to learning as, looking forward to coming to school, looking forward to be a happy learner, and create even in teachers that, because it might be really bogging down in institutions, every day create a lovely setup. How much is that teacher working to create that setup? The remuneration of the teacher, create that beautiful setup in the school. At the end of the day, is she going happy home? What is her SQ quotient? What is her EQ quotient? At the end of the day, is she doing something to stimulate her energy? The next day, is she motivated to come back? Simple thing. Today, we took cakes and went to the teacher, and the teachers were surprised that, oh, ma'am has got cake. I said, happy Friendship Day. You're doing a great, to teach a small child, to teach a small heart, to bring about a change in them is a wonderful gift and a big heart. There's a big teacher with a big heart to mold these young minds. So gratitude culture, we are going to, our behavior is going to be watched and it's going to be picked up and it's going to be emulated. So this is something that we need to, as progressive leaders, as educationists, all these small little things we need to put in pockets and try to monitor them.
Yeah, thank you, Christine ma'am. I think very well said and expressed by you. The one thing that you said, the children who are in upper KG or senior KG currently, they always say we don't want to touch the books because we started with our education with laptop. This is what is the problem even I face in the school. So it's really great difficult job for each educators to bring them back into the mainstream of the education. Very well said. Dr. Dipali ma'am, you are requested to share your views. Ma'am, are you there? Okay. Akansha ma'am, can you please
Yeah, so about the challenges, I would say that the parents' mindset has to be changed, not just teachers, but parents. And for the partnership, we need to organize parent orientation sessions to make them understand why and how of everything. Why are we doing something and how are we going to do that? Because otherwise, if the parent is on a different path, the parent is trying to introduce a different method at home, that is going to confuse the child. So somewhere that partnership is very important. I also see a lot of parents' ambitions being thrusted upon these children. They are in a rat race. My child is going for a swimming class and a dance class, and my child is going for a swimming, dance, and art class. Oh, then my child is going for swimming, art, dance, and a music class also. So, that comparison, I know, and the need to give more to the child, give more and more and more to the child. I think what is most important is to have conversations. Another problem that I continuously address is, ma'am, the child is on the device. How can we take away the device? Please don't take away the device. All of you make a discipline at home for 2 hours. Everybody keep away your devices. You don't take away. Ask the child to keep it away for 2 hours, because everybody is keeping it away for 2 hours. Can we all do that? As adults, you don't want to do that, but you want the child to do that. So like I said, you'll have to be role models for them. So first you keep it aside, and then the child will keep it aside, and you can have a great discussion during that time. So yeah, I think that
Yes,
would be.
very rightly said, Akansha ma'am. We as an educator, the children are with us, say, for 2 to 3 hours. But it is a role of every parent, like, to set certain discipline at home. We tell our children to keep the mobile and the laptops away, but we are on our mobile. So I think we should set an example, right? Very rightly said. Dipali ma'am, are you there to share your thoughts? Or we should wind up the session? Yeah,
Yes,
Dipali
ma'am,
ma'am
I'm
is there.
there.
Yeah, ma'am. Please share your views.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I would like to congratulate to all the panelist members. You have done very good job. Only what I believe in this new education policy 2020 says it should be, the learning should be holistic, fun-filled, stress-free, and child-centered learning for all early learners in India. And nowadays, what as a principal or as an educator, what we are facing, my teachers are facing, first of all, about the nutritional food, because 2 years students were at home and they were habitual to attend the online classes and to have the food. So now it is a very biggest task for all the educators. They means the parents only, they have made the habits to eat all junk foods, and students are not eating nutritious food. So that is the biggest task. So I believe all educators, we have to work on this very important part of this. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, very rightly said, Dipali ma'am. I just wanted to add one point over here. In a school for pre-primary section, we generally give the food chart to the children, like a particular food to be brought on one particular day. But when I see my teacher's tiffin, teachers, they bring the junk food. So like, I feel it has to be balanced. Again, I will only say we have to set an example by doing. Otherwise, we cannot bring the change. So certainly this NEP will bring new pedagogy and curriculum for school education, ensuring universal access at all levels of school education, from preschool to secondary. NEP is indeed a monumental step for the education industry. The National Education Policy 2020 spelled out education as being fundamental to human development and the high quality learning opportunities that the nation must provide to its young minds to prepare them for the future. About 2 crores out of school children will be brought back into the mainstream under NEP. But our main focus should be on foundation of learning, that is early childhood care and education. So NEP is well suited to strengthening our education system, transforming India into a global education hub. The National Education Policy is a guiding path to bring advancement in the learning landscape by making education holistic and further developing a solid foundation for the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission. So now I just would like to add on few things over here. We at IIU focus on early childhood care and education. We do have our ECCE department. We conduct summer camps, teachers training programs. We do provide support to set up the preschools and many more things which are for the benefit of the foundation of learning. So certainly IIU is to bring the change in the worldwide education. I, Dr. Snigdha Kadam, extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers of the day, Kristen, Dr. Dipali, Akansha, and Anshita ma'am for your insights on NEP ECCE Foundation of Learning. Wonderful, amazing, mind-blowing, and enriching session by all the speakers. I extend my gratitude to Piyush sir, the visionary founder of IIU, for organizing this webinar on NEP 2020 with 60 plus eminent educators of India. Thank you, sir. It's indeed a revolutionary step. Last but not the least, thank you, IIU team, for your tremendous support for the success of NEP India webinar series. Thank you so much, each one of you. See you all tomorrow. Do not forget, tomorrow we'll have a third day for NEP webinar session. So stay tuned, stay safe, and see you all tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Great.